We'll call to order the City of Douglasville's City Council Legislative Work Session for tonight, which is Thursday, August the 30th. We'll have our invocation that will be done by the Reverend Dr. Edwin Jones, Senior Pastor of Bright Star United Methodist Church. And after that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by the Mayor Pro Tem, Richard Siegel. So if you don't mind, please stand for the invocation.
God is good. Let's pause for a moment as we give thanks to God for the life and the legacy of Senator McCain. We pray God's blessing upon his family and his loved ones during this time of their bereavement. Loving and gracious God, we give you thanks for all our elected officials. We thank you for the city of Douglasville, for this county, for this state. We ask that you will be with each and every one of us. Bless us as we continue to do the things that you have called us to do. Bless them as they deliberate and as they do whatever needs to be done for the life and the welfare and the well-being of this city and its citizens. And so into your care and keeping we commit ourselves. We ask it in Jesus' name and for his sake, with thanksgiving in our hearts. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Dr. Jones for the invocation. We appreciate it. I will go through announcements and presentations and just give us the protocol for this evening's meeting, and so that we'll all be on the same page, and then we will move on with the agenda as it is written. I'd like to welcome you again to the City of Douglasville's Legislative Work Session. This is a work session where agenda items are presented for discussion and no official action will be taken tonight. Official action will be taken on these items discussed tonight on Tuesday. Typically, we have our meetings on Mondays, but of course, this coming Monday is Labor Day, so we'll have a meeting on Tuesday at 6 p.m. If the business you are here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates sections for you to bring your items for discussion. There are a few protocol issues I'd like to make you aware of when you come to the podium. I'd ask that you would keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You'll receive a warning from the chair. If you deviate from that requirement, a second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the chambers and the premises for the evening. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud or react to speakers. Speak from the audience. Cheer, carry on conversations in the audience, or be disruptive in any manner. We'll remind you that only are required to accept public comments during required public hearings. And if you have a pager or a cell phone, pager is outdated, but if you have a cell phone or any electronic devices, iPads and such, we ask that you would please put them in silent mode or turn those off until the meeting is over, so they will not be disruptive. The agenda items will be handled as the following. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item. Then the person representing that agenda item or applicant will make his or her presentation. And then the council members and myself will possibly ask questions for clarification so that we'll understand your application. After that, committee chair will ask for comments or statements from the audience. There will be a maximum time of 30 minutes for the speaker and to people to speak in favor or in opposition, and each speaker has 5 minutes to talk on that item. Prior to approaching the podium, please give your name and address for the record. There should have been a card that you would fill out and give to the city clerk, Ms. Vicki Acker, to my right. Each person has one opportunity. This is not a question and answer format. It's just, or debate. It's just for us to receive information. So please give us what you would like to say and address your comments to the chair. I believe that's it. But again, if there is an agenda item and what you'd like to talk to us about this evening, if it isn't listed, please come during the portion of the agenda that says comments from citizens and delegates. Give us your name and address, and we'd be happy to hear from you. So all of that being said, we'll move on with the printed agenda. The first committee is Public Safety, and that's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor. I have one item,
Mm-hmm.
and hold a public hearing to consider a request for a change in agent outlet manager for the alcoholic beverage license for the retail package sale of wine and malt beverage at the following establishment. Licensed the Kroger Company, DBA Kroger, number 485, located 3875 Chapel Hill Road. Current agent outlet manager James H. Whitting and proposed agent outlet manager Michael Biggs. The required fees has been paid into our finance department. Would the applicant please come down if you're here, please? And give us your name and address, please, sir.
Michael Biggs, home address 109 Trinity Walk, Douglasville, Georgia, representing Kroger at 3875 Chapel Hill Road.
Yes, sir. Right now, we want to hold a small public hearing, and then we have 5 minutes for those who against Kroger having a, wine and malt beverage, and then we have 5 minutes for those who will. So right now, all against, come on down and state why you're against. Seems like we don't have anyone, and all this far, come down. Okay, now we hear from the, we'll close the public hearing and we'll hear from the council and mayor.
Mr.
Y'all have
Chairman?
any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Biggs, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, nice to see you. Welcome. Your procedures, if you can talk to us about, I'm sure your company, we've had Kroger in before, but if you can just, for the viewing audience and for us, just tell us your procedure and how you check for ID for adults and, people purchasing alcoholic beverages out of the Kroger.
All right. Well, once someone onboards with Kroger, they go through a series of web-based learning. It's about a 30-minute course. It goes through all the state and local laws, Kroger's policies and procedures on basically checking everyone's ID. We usually get some flack on that with our older customers, but it's just the law. It keeps everybody safe, and we stress to our young people that it's not worth selling to a minor. So we stress that every year, and we revisit their rules and responsibilities once a year as well, as they stay on board with a cashier for us.
Okay. I had an additional question. What about, I know my daughter is, well, she isn't 18 yet. Her birthday's in October. But she has a couple of friends that work at Kroger. What about the youth that are not quite 18 themselves or 21? How do they, if they're at the register, how do they handle that if someone comes through and they have an alcoholic beverage?
Well, Paulding County's, I live in Paulding County.
Okay.
And if the ID is vertical, they have to have another manager on duty, someone that is 21 or older, come up and actually take care of that sale for them.
Okay.
But Douglas doesn't do that, so they're responsible once they're 16 and on the register. They are personally liable for that sale.
Okay.
But we do have supervisors that are there constantly, viewing and observing that checkout procedure as well, just to make sure we don't sell to a minor.
So the cashier will ask a supervisor to help them with the transaction. Okay.
Okay, we usually always have a manager somewhere near the front as well for that assistance.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Chairman. That's all I had.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anyone, Mark? Thank you, sir. And if you come back on Tuesday, and we have an answer, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have right now, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to the next committee, which is Community and Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Richard Siegel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have two items. I'm going to read them both before I let our Assistant City Manager talk to us about them, because they're both pretty much the same. A, appoint an individual to serve as the Post 4 member of the Development Authority of the City of Douglasville to fill an unexpired term expiring July 23rd, 2022. And B, appoint an individual to serve as the Post 7 member of the Development Authority of the City of Douglasville to fill an unexpired term expiring July 23rd, 2019. Hello.
Hey, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Chelsea Jackson, 6695 Church Street, Douglasville, Georgia. On your attachments, you have 4 individuals that you have interviewed: Mr. Danny Hutchins, Mr. Don Watts, Mr. Deborah Donatov, and Mrs. Frances Richards. You've interviewed all 4 of these individuals. They've received information regarding Development Authority, and as well as their next meeting being September 13th, and I will have a ballot present on September 4th on Tuesday for you to vote.
Any comments or questions from Mayor or Council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, just curious, just want to make sure that the applicants that we have, you had mentioned that they've been given information concerning the city's development authority, and are they informed as to the relationship that we have and the intergovernmental agreement that we have with the county actually being, I guess you would say, the forward unit that we work in conjunction with them so that they understand the role of the actual position?
Yes, sir. Once I receive an applicant who's interested, they receive the Development Authority information that's attached, as well as the intergovernmental agreement. They read through it, and I also discuss with them any questions that they have and their responsibilities that they have, and also the agreement between the city and the county.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else? All right, we will have some balloting on Tuesday, and then we will vote on the candidates to fill those roles. Thank you very much. No other items, Madam Mayor?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on to item 7, Planning and Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have several items to look at tonight. Planning and Development. The first is to hold a public hearing and authorize the mayor to transmit to the Atlanta Regional Commission and the Department of Community Affairs the City of Douglasville update of its comprehensive plan. Ms. Michelle Wright is here to help us with that. We will, after we hear comments from the representative of ARC, be allowing public comment since it is a public hearing. So if you want to speak either for or against, we will give you the opportunity to do that. And as we finish the comments from staff, we'll go to that part of the public hearing. Go ahead, Mr.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Michelle Wright, 6695 Church Street, Douglasville, Georgia. We're in the process of updating our comprehensive plan. We were doing it every 10 years. Now we're going to 5 years, according to the Department of Community Affairs. ARC has been our consultant on this plan, and I have with me tonight Sidney Dowse from ARC, and he will be going through the plan with you and answering any questions.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor and Council, Sidney Dowse, Atlanta Regional Commission, 229 Peachtree Street, Atlanta, Georgia. And I am here before you to give you a brief presentation overview of the comprehensive plan update that we would like to transmit to DCA for review. And I'll move pretty quickly, give you a general overview, some of the highlights of the plan. And when I conclude, we can take questions and comments. So the transmittal to the Department of Community Affairs is for them to begin their review and to make sure that the plan meets the form and addresses the required elements of the Department of Community Affairs. Goals, needs and opportunities, community work program, land use, economic development, transportation, and housing. And they will review to make sure everything is in the appropriate form. And typically during that time, we can continue to make detailed changes. If we want to add or change things, especially in the community work program, that is okay. They are primarily looking at the form. Recap of activities. We had 3 steering committee meetings, March, April, and May. We had a public meeting in June and July. And I failed to mention at the beginning, this was a joint process with Douglas County. So we had a joint steering committee, worked with both staff, although we're transmitting 2 separate documents, one for the city and one for Douglas County. During those activities, pretty good turnout, especially towards the end. In general, a lot of what was heard during the previous plan, which was in 2013, was also heard during this meeting. During these meetings. Big change more concerned about downtown Douglasville and a desire for more uses down around Main Street, more input on the North Douglasville North Side study area, which in perfect timing you have a study also taking place. In addition, more concerns around the mall. I think the mall starting to age, traffic, some aesthetic issues came up, especially during the first meeting. We heard more about that, and we addressed that in the plan as well. Other than that, a lot of the feedback was similar, and you'll see in the document the change to the needs and opportunities section and the vision is a slight tweak from before, but in general, things are still going in the same direction. So, overview of the document. Comp plans are a lot shorter than they used to be. I myself still have to get used to that. But there's the data and demographics section, community goals, assets and challenges, future land use narrative, that's the future land use map, a review of past plans, and the community work program. Demographics, that's on page 3. That's your basic demographics section, pretty short. We really highlight the big areas. 13 is the community vision. You typically have a choice to do either a list of goals or a vision. We elected to go with the vision we shared during the public input process. The vision and the goals from the previous plan and updated it based on what we heard from the public, and we also incorporated the Douglas County strategic plan that the Chamber and Economic Development Authority was working on. Assets and challenges, as I stated, in general, very similar to before with some tweaks going forward. Future land use narrative, the map is included as well as the character areas as before. The big change to this is we are proposing 2 new character areas. And some of you are familiar with this from the meetings. One is going to be proposed as a traditional neighborhood activity center. Well, actually, traditional neighborhood. That would include essentially the older portions of Douglasville. If you look on an aerial even from the 50s, these are the core neighborhoods that surrounded Main Street on the north and south of the tracks. More of a grid pattern of streets, older homes. We heard a lot of feedback from the public and steering committee members that there was a desire for more infill development, both north and south of Main Street. Smaller lots, older styled homes, and we felt that the previous designation did not totally address that, and also this will be a good fit for your UDO, UDC code that you're working on as well. The downtown activity center, that's all of downtown and Main Street, all of the commercial properties. That's the brown on the map. That is all of downtown and almost mirrors the downtown master plan study that you completed recently, and reflects some of the recommended changes for that area, including the consideration of housing, multifamily housing, and more uses along Main Street, and I think is a better fit than the community activity center designation that is along 92. Those 2 are proposed. If we want to make some tweaks to that, we can definitely do that going forward. The transportation section, we will add the City of Douglasville's comprehensive transportation plan to that. Initially, we were reflecting the county transportation plan. We're going to switch that with the city's plan prior to our transmittal to DCA. Past plans, that is a summary of all the plans that you've taken place, that you participated in. As we stated before, a large number of plans have already taken place, and a big chunk of this plan was to reflect a lot of the work that has already been completed. In this document is the economic development strategy. The previous LCI, the Sweetwater Master Plan, even though that's a county study, a portion of that did impact Douglasville. We cover the North Side study and the Highway 92 realignment project. The North Side study, we have a general portion in there, but as your recommendations become more finalized, as I've heard till in October, and we did meet with the consultant during that study, we can add more details and recommendations as they become available, but we at least wanted to get the plan in there at this time, and as your Parks Master Plan gets towards completion, we can put that in also. the community work program. Those are the specific projects that Douglasville wishes to address over the next 5 years. It ties to the needs and opportunities and to your vision. Highlights, once your UDO is complete, we want to make sure that whatever new zoning categories come out are appropriately reflected and match the recommendations in the future land use map. We recommended certain items as maybe reviewing your historic district, especially as new ranch homes become more historically significant, just to check on the boundaries. We recommend considering a study or a look, staff or external, around Arbor Place Mall, the Bright Star and Rose Avenue area. We had a lot of land use discussions with staff about that area also, and consider looking at the Sweetwater Master Plan and the recommendations, especially the impacts that they could have along Riverside Parkway. That's your portion of that area that extends out from the county's area. Next steps, if you so desire, we can transmit to DCA. What is required is that there is a public hearing for public comment, and then all DCA requires is a letter from the mayor authorizing them to start their review. And during that review period, traditionally at ARC, we continue to make final revisions. As stated before, DCA is looking at the outline and the structure of the plan, but if there's a new item added to the work plan, if there is a new issue or an opportunity named, or if we make updates to past plans, that is not a huge concern of theirs, and we can continue that as their review continues. And after their review is complete and they are okay with the structure of the document, I will definitely come back before you to adopt the plan officially, hopefully in October. That is a overview of the plan, and this time we can hear from comments, or I'll take questions from council as you desire.
Thank you, Mr. Dowse. Is there any comment or question of council? Madam Mayor, you go first.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Sydney. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good to see you. I did have a couple of questions, Mr. Chairman. Sydney, about transportation plan, you were saying there wasn't anything in the transportation plan. So on page 20, so what were you going to submit to DCA? One, and then the past plan on page 21, it said county. I didn't see where it said City of Douglasville, just as Douglas County. So I know we were doing the plans simultaneously, but it's Douglas County Community and Economic Development Strategy. So those past plans, are you taking into consideration the City of Douglasville? And then the last question was a park study. So you're waiting for us to complete our park study to implement the park study into the plan, into the comp plan?
Yeah, so the CTP, originally we had the county transportation plan in the document. Traditionally, we have the county plan, but since there was a separate plan completed for the city, before we prepared the agenda item, we took that out, and we're going to replace it with the city plan before we transmit. We just didn't want to show the county plan knowing that you have a city CTP in there as well. So it will be a 2-page summary, similar to the one from the county, and that will be in prior to transmittal. The first one, that was the county's community economic development study that the chamber completed. Right. And we just had that first, but after that you'll see the master plan, the north side study, and all of the studies that pertain specifically to the city. And the parks plan, I talked to the parks director at the time. He said the draft was not quite ready, but it should be ready shortly. We have a brief mention of it in there. This is traditionally not required, but we do want to have it in there either prior to transmittal or before adoption. We will get that completed document in there with those recommendations. But that is not a specific DCA requirement. So we just wanted to get the transmittal ready and then get that in when the document is complete and when staff is ready for us to have it in. But we did talk to the parks director about that plan.
Okay, so the city council hearings in the Appendix A for community engagement, the one was Monday, August 28th. Last year, too. Okay. So are we going to have 3 before we submit to DCA? Is that the requirement?
Actually, the only requirement from DCA is that you have a hearing, either at council or a public meeting.
I see.
DCA's view of a hearing is different than the zoning law. They just want a hearing with the opportunity for the public to comment on the plan, knowing that it will still be out for review during theirs. And then after that hearing, which could be tonight or next week, they just need a letter from the mayor authorizing them to start their review. And then after the review's done, we are required to have a resolution to adopt the plan after their review. But this is just to say that this meets their standards and that you can start to review the plan to make sure it meets the state regulations.
Okay, so I'll read through everything. I just want to make sure we're not, I know we're doing a lot of, ARC's doing a lot of plans. I don't want us to kind of get our plan mixed up with the county. I want to have us, you know, certainly be unique to Douglasville and not have it just mimic all the plans around the region, for us to really have the character of the city of Douglasville and for it to be our comprehensive plan that we can use. All right, thank you so much, Sydney. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Other questions? Sydney, I want to ask, first of all, and I apologize, I want to ask what the proper pronunciation of your last name is.
Dowse.
Dowse.
Like house with a D.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dowse. I did have a question, and basically tonight what we're doing takes care of the Thursday, August 30th, second public hearing. That's what we're doing now in order to then allow you then to transmit this to DCA. I guess in the face of our deadlines that we face, according to Ms. Wright, we have deadlines on this plan to get it in order to be within tolerance, for lack of a better word, as far as the state is concerned. When would you expect to have the transportation study, CTP study, added into this? And I want to make note of something. It says a summary of the 2008 Douglasville CTP will be added.
Yes.
Should that not be 2018?
Now, this is referring to the 2008 transportation plan that Jacobs completed.
Okay, so that it goes that far back then?
Yes, yes.
We don't have a 2018.
Okay.
However, in the fall, we're going to be updating our comprehensive transportation plan.
Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood that item, but Mr. Dowse, when would you think that this would then be added into the plan so that we could then have it approved by DCA back into our hands so that we can see what you all at ARC are installing there?
We will put that in Tuesday, and then we cannot transmit until we have a letter from the mayor. And once we put that in, we can get that to you to review. But the past plan summaries average about a page and a half.
Okay.
And we had in there was about 2 pages. It'll be the same, but probably Tuesday. But before we got this item ready, we did not have it in, but we will have it in by Tuesday.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, is there others that would like to make comment? Now, this is a public hearing, so we need to allow time for individuals to come and speak, both in favor of and in objection to. Are there any persons that would like to speak concerning this item? This is our public hearing time, and we want to make sure that we give ample time for that. Anyone that would come and speak for or against? Okay. Seeing none, then we'll close the public hearing. We will come back on Tuesday and vote on this item. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item B, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a variance to reduce the required 100-foot side yard setback in subsection 4.03.01A, table 4-2 of the zoning ordinance for a variance of 15 feet for a remaining requirement of 85 feet on the northwest side of a lot of 1.6 plus or minus acres at 8660 South Flat Rock Road, land lot 90, District 2, Section 5, parcels 104 and 105. Application by Mr. Shane Jackson. Is there a representative for this public hearing here for Mr. Jackson? If you would, sir, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Michael Forlaw, 3025 Shady Grove Road, Carrollton, Georgia, 30116.
Thank you, sir. Give us information now on your application here, on your request.
Okay.
And if I could add for council, there is a information online as an attachment here for you to look at concerning that potential variance. Go ahead, Mr. Forlaw.
Okay. So this same property we spoke about a couple weeks ago that y'all previously consolidated. We are requesting that the I know that that says the building setback, but there's really two requests here in this variance request. The undisturbed buffer, if you see that on the north side of the property, it's a proposed 50-foot undisturbed buffer. Currently, the survey that has been approved, the plat, is a 70-foot undisturbed buffer. The development code or the zoning code specifies a 50-foot, so the plat is more stringent than what the code specifies for when an industrial piece of property adjoins a residential piece of property. So we're requesting that that undisturbed buffer be reduced back down to what the code allows. And then in addition to that, as the property, if that is approved, obviously we have some more buildable space to the north. We would like to use that space, so we're asking that the building setback get reduced from 100 feet to 85 feet, so a reduction of 15 foot.
Okay, then it looks as though we do not have a variance request that requests both of those items in front of us tonight. What we have in front of us is a request to reduce the side yard setback that does not say anything about the no disturb area. Is that correct, Mr. Schaefer? Would you come forward, please, so that we might ask questions concerning that? That's a little confusing, Mr. Forlaw, in that you said there are actually two. And I do not see loaded on, and I may be wrong, I may have just not found it.
When the original advertised, Phil Schaefer, 6695 Church Street, sorry, Mayor and Council, the original advertising was not for a variance for the setback. That was a plat requirement. The code required the 50 feet all along. And so when the case was given over to me, the advertising had already been done, and this has simply been continued on as a side yard setback requirement, as that's what the code requires. The 85-foot is now requested instead of the 100 mandated. Our standards are for a buffer of 50 foot, and the plat, as it was recorded before, is what was requiring the 70 feet. So in our case, all we're asking for in terms of advertising was the side yard setback for the building, for the structure.
That's all that has been advertised in the variance is a side yard setback reduction of 15 feet.
Correct. That's what we're here for.
That does not reduce the no disturb.
The undisturbed requirement of
not
the plat
change that.
Has not changed.
In this variance.
Correct.
Okay. Questions, comments? Okay. Is there anything else, Mr. Forlaw, you want to add to that?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either for or against this variance of 15 feet from the 100-foot side yard setback? Is there anyone that would speak against or for? Please come forward. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and if you will come back on Tuesday, then we will take action on this item.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Forlaw. Appreciate it. Item C, consider a request for final plat approval for the purpose of subdivision into 8 lots for 2.575 acres at Chicago Avenue in land lot 193, District 2, Section 5B, Parcel 20, application by Larry Neese. How are you this evening, sir?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm actually David McGinnis. I'm the president and CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Northwest Metro Atlanta. We serve Cobb, Douglas, and Paulding County. We're located at 1625 Spring Road in Smyrna, Georgia. We began this journey some time back, and we're concluding now the subdivision and ready to plat it. So we come to you for your questions.
First of all, let me say that the one home that has been completed and now is being occupied, I understand.
Not yet. We're getting close.
Has been dedicated.
Yes, sir.
Let's put it that way. That is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Really looks nice.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate all the work that you have done on behalf of Habitat for Humanity. Are there any items, I'll ask staff, are there any items concerning this final plat that would prevent us from going forward? Any problems? Everything is ready and above board and ready to go. Has everyone finally come together as far as all the various entities, as far as all of the utilities, everything is done, and I see that the development is basically done. You just want to get the final plat approved now.
Yes, sir. Anytime you start something new like that, they're going to have a couple of wrinkles you got to iron out. But we've gotten those resolved, and we're proud of what we're there and looking forward to building it out.
Well, let me thank you for your patience, because I know that there have been several hoops to jump through, and we appreciate your patience and your determination to get it done on behalf of those veterans. Any questions or comments from council? Are there any-
I'm sorry, Mr.
No,
Chairman. I was
go
just going to
ahead. Go
concur
ahead,
that
Madam
the dedication was absolutely moving. The home is beautiful. Several council members were there, and of course, others have gone to see the facility. And I look forward to grabbing a hammer for the next house. The veteran has already asked me to come and help and give some time, so I'll be happy to do that. But thank you so much.
We'd be honored to have any of you come. It took a joint effort, and like I said, it worked all together, and we appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. McGinnis. Any other comment? Seeing none, we'll take action on this item on Tuesday, and we appreciate you again, sir. Thank you very much. Madam Mayor, that's all that I have tonight under Planning and Development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to the next committee, which is Parks and Recreation, and that the Vice Chair is Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No items at this time, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair. You're welcome. We'll move on to Finance Committee, chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
We have no business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. Information and Technology Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under Information Technology tonight.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Maintenance and Sanitation Committee, the Vice Chair is Councilmember Mark Adams.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Transportation Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There
Welcome.
are 3 items. The first item, item 27-18-16, tabled from August 20th, 2018, authorized the mayor to sign an agreement with Douglas County Board of Commissioners for the resurfacing of Cave Springs Road in approximate distance of 2,475 linear feet in South Flat Rock Road and approximate distance of 1,300 linear feet as part of Douglas County's 2016 SPLOST resurfacing program. Unfortunately, the documents are not ready, so hopefully on Tuesday. Ms. Hampton?
Well, I'm hoping, Dr. Burdanley, that we will at least get something by Friday so you all can review it over the weekend. But if we do not, then we'll be asking you to take no action until we receive the documents.
Thank you. Thank you, our city manager, Ms. Hampton. And the other 2 items, B and C. B is authorized the mayor to sign a construction contract with the qualified lower bidder of Colquitt Terrace Road resurfacing project. And I'll go ahead and read C. Authorize the mayor to sign a construction contract with qualified low bidder of Public Safety Community Center parking lot expansion project. Both of these items, the bid does not go out until tomorrow. Comes in tomorrow. So we do not have those items either. So we'll relook at that on Tuesday. Okay. Are there any comments or questions? If not, there are no other items under transportation. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Burdanley. We appreciate it. We'll move on to Personnel and Organization Committee, that's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Richard Siegel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do have a couple items. First is to authorize payment of expenses for registration cost and reasonable travel expenses for Councilmember Terry Miller and Councilman Sam Davis to attend the 2018 annual conference for the National League of Cities in amounts consistent with those established in the administration ordinance for pre-approved training events.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, the 2 elected officials mentioned in the item are the only 2 that expressed interest in attending this year's event. Therefore, with your approval on Tuesday, we will start the process for them to attend that conference.
I'd like to open the floor to both of these council members to comment.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. No, it'd be my honor to represent the City Council at the National League of Cities Conference in Los Angeles. After study, I wasn't quite positive that it was something that I wanted to attend initially, but after looking at it at the request of the mayor, I realized that there is a lot of good information that we can bring back that can be very applicable to a lot of what we're doing currently in the city of Douglasville. So,
Also, Terry, piggyback on what Terry said, I would really appreciate and an honor to represent the city. I represent the city in Charlotte with National League of City, and it was very interesting. and with me being over education and training, and I want to know so I can bring it back to our city. Thank you.
Any other comments from Mayor and Council?
So the only thing I would add, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, is that my schedule didn't permit me to attend this conference. I did attend the National Leagues of Cities last year in Charlotte, North Carolina, and so I appreciate Councilmember Miller attending in my stead. It does say in the ordinance that I can attend or send a representative, so it will not come out of his budget, but out of my training budget to send Mr. Miller in my stead. Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Miller, you've been requested by the mayor to attend in her stead, and so it would come out of the finance department, it would come out of your budget, Madam Mayor, rather than Mr. Miller's. Okay, or is that something that we normally allow?
We would have to put it on a budget item for you to vote on to approve.
Okay, I just want to make sure that so that later in the year when we get to the end of the training times and we have potential issues, which I hope that we don't this year, with monies and budgets and the need possibly for some changes. I think I've been rather vocal about the need for us to attend this particular conference. If it's something that we can approve for these two individuals to do, that's fine, but I do not want to see us have to increase training budgets in order to accommodate something on a national level when that's your decision whether or not it's needed more than local. That's all. I just want to make sure that we do allocate that correctly so that there is not a question about Mr. T. Miller's expenses down the road, because I know, Madam Mayor, you have a larger budget for travel.
Yes, sir, and that's what, I pulled the wrong ordinance. I had something else but
Okay.
I did, I put it back in my car, but it does say in the ordinance that
Yes, ma'am.
from my training, and then I can, if I weren't going to attend, then I can send a representative.
Sure.
And so that's what
I'd
I'm going
also
to do.
request that Mr. Miller then bring back a report to us
He'd
on
be
behalf
happy.
of the mayor and tell us something that was learned that would benefit our city, as I think would be something that we should hear.
Fully my intention to do that.
And
Thank
that's
you
what
very
he said.
much.
He even asked what classes I recommended that him attend, and I trust his judgment. So it's whatever classes you deem are important.
Thank you.
Take your-
That's all
yes,
that I
sir.
had. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, we'll take that up on Tuesday. The second item is to adopt a resolution implementing immediate changes to personnel matters based on the recommendations of the city's recent study by Evergreen Solutions, including revised job titles and job descriptions, revised organization charts, and a revised pay schedule, renaming of the Maintenance and Sanitation Department, and creation of additional job slots, and approving guidelines for employee pay raises based on longevity and other factors to become effective March 5th, 2019. Does that cover it all?
That's a mouthful.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, that
Okay,
covers
good.
it all. Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Tia Austin Bing, 6695 Church Street, Douglasville, Georgia, 30134. This item before you that was discussed in committee's meeting on the 16th of August is regarding the recent Evergreen pay study that we began in January of this year. This resolution is the final resolution with all the updates to the pay schedule that were needed. Also, Mayor Pro Tem, you asked that we go back and check the pay schedule. We did that to make sure that everything was in its proper place that you see before you in the attachment. Ms. Littlefield, also the city manager, myself, and the finance manager have vetted everything that you have before you. So we are ready to come before you to make a recommendation to adopt this updated pay schedule for March the 5th, 2019. And I'll take any questions if you have any.
Comments or questions from Mayor and Council? We got a whole lot of city staff here present that's affected by this. Anyone have any questions? No? All right, we'll take this up on Tuesday then.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on then to Ordinance and Intergovernmental Committee. And that is Councilmember LaShawn Danley, the Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
One item under ordinances and intergovernmental is authorize the city legal department to give notice of the mayor and council's intent to consider amending various sections of the city charter to provide the city manager job shall be a contract appointee position to revise job title for appointed city staff, to set a term of office for municipal court judges to expand the sentencing jurisdiction of the municipal court and revise various other matters. Ms. Hampton?
That actually would be Ms. Littlefield.
Madam Chairman, the proposed charter changes in the same state in which I originally presented it to you in committee. There have been no further changes.
Thank you, Ms. Littlefield. Are there any questions or comments? If not, there are no other items. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was
Yes,
one.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'm sorry.
Just to review the procedure for amending the charter, after the ad goes in, we will have 2 different consecutive voting meetings where we would positively affirm the changes as well as public hearings.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Siegel. Are there any other questions or comments? If not, Madam Mayor, there are no other items under ordinances and intergovernmental.
Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair, for handling that committee for us. We appreciate it. We'll move on now to Education and Training Committee. That is chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. No items at this time, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Communications Committee, Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No communication at this time, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Other business, is there any other business to come before council tonight from council members?
We got Labor Day weekend right
We
in front of us.
do.
Lots going on in our city this weekend.
I know we have a Labor Day parade. I don't know who's participating, but it starts at what time? Are you going to tell us all that, City Manager? 10?
I will actually have Mr. Roberts come up and give you all the specifics on the Labor Day parade.
Okay. I was going to call you Mr. Marvelous because every time
Well,
I
I wouldn't
ask
go
you
that
how
far,
you
but
doing,
thank you very much.
He says marvelous.
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah, that's my
Roberts.
word.
Yes, sir.
Greg Roberts, Maintenance and Sanitation Department, 8578 Club Drive. Boy, howdy. Douglasville, where you can reach us at sanitation@douglasvillega.gov. The Labor Day Parade starts this coming Monday, September 3rd at 10 a.m. Lineup is generally around 9 a.m., but between my staff and police staff and the shrine, the Sweetwater Shrine folks, if you get there at 8:30, we'll probably get you situated. We'll have everything safe and under control at that point. For those of you that want to ride the fire truck as council members, it'll be in its normal setup point. So you can call me anytime Monday morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I'll be up, hopefully with a Martin's biscuit, and I'll get you one too if you want one. But if you want to ride on the fire truck, just meet at the normal spot. And but if you want to be in the parade as a part of the Labor Day parade, from the political standpoint, I can give you Mr. Joe Miller's contact information, and I did email it to you all this afternoon, or I can contact him on your behalf. Just let me know.
Thank you so much, Mr. Roberts. I know there are some other activities.
And we do have other activities. Is that what you're going to cover?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind.
Well, we have the annual barbecue at Hunter Park, and that's the shrine has that every year, and for a number of years. And I'm remiss on trying to say how many years, but I don't remember it not ever being. So that'll be out there. It's a great cause that they have. And then also there's a large event at Worthen Park. That's on the corner of West Strickland Street and Dallas Highway, Worthen Park, where the large radio tower is there. Willie Watkins Funeral Home has a large event there, and I believe that's 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
That's exactly right.
And the public is welcome, and great music and great fun and great people.
Very good. Good job, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And those of us who have trash service normally on Mondays, we'll have it on Tuesday.
That's right. Double route on Tuesday.
Very good. Thank you so much. Any other business to come before council members from each other? Okay, I was just seeing what was going on. You have anything else, Mr. Roberts, that you wanted to say?
Mr. Bruce said, which one? I'm going to be giving a glass point demonstration at Hunter Park, same time as the barbecue.
Okay, very good. What kind of demonstration?
A glass blowing
Oh.
demonstration at Hunter Park at the same time as the barbecue by Mr. Bruce Campbell.
All right, Mr. Campbell, that's impressive. When we do comments from citizens and delegates, you can come up and talk to us about that, if you don't mind. Okay, so we'll go on if there isn't any other business. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dodson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dodson. Chief Assistant City Attorney, Ms. Susan Littlefield.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to the Chief of Police. That isn't a chief, but that's someone's handsome Captain Stafford. Thank you so much. You're welcome. We'll move on to our City Manager, Ms. Marsha Hampton.
Yes, ma'am. Just to remind everyone, as you all have mentioned, City Hall will be closed on Monday to observe for Labor Day. We will be back on Tuesday, as well as we will convene for your meetings on Tuesday. We do have a trip planned for you all to Woodstock next week. So if you do not plan to attend and van or carpool along the way, please let Mr. Roberts know so we can plan for travel. We do plan to leave Woodstock right after lunch, so we should be here back in Douglasville between 2 and 2:30. On behalf of the employees, I do want to thank those elected officials who've been attending the team meetings. Whether you all know it or not, your presence there is greatly appreciated and welcomed. So I think it means a lot to the employees when you are there and you hear their questions and concerns and make certain that we take that to you all. So I do say thank you. And even though the resolution will not be voted upon until Tuesday, I would say that just based on the fact that you all are considering changes to our pay scale, I speak on behalf of all the employees at the City of Douglasville that we truly and greatly appreciate the value that you put in us in making certain that our salaries are within market rate and that you are even considering and looking at it. So on behalf of all the employees, I do thank you for that.
Thank you so much. City Manager.
Question, Madam Mayor, if I could, of
Yes,
Ms.
sir.
Hampton.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hampton, can you give us the time again that we're going to start our meetings on Tuesday? Is it 4:30 or 4?
Yes, sir, we will, and thank you for reminding me of that. We will start at 4:30. Mr. Adams, I think you have a previous meeting at 4, but at 4:30, we do have an extended presentation that we have trying to wrap up certain things with our Unified Development Ordinance. So we will have some folks there talking about that and some other items that will need a little bit more time. So if you all don't mind being here at 4:30 on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir. Any other questions? Yes, sir, Mr.
I have
Davis.
one more thing. I want to thank the staff for having us today as their panel. Councilman Siegel and Councilman Davis as their great panels today, and I think I liked it. Let's do it again. Lunch and learn. Thank you all.
Very good. Thank you so much. Any other comments from council members as it relates to the City Manager? Thank you. So not seeing any, we'll move on to item 22, which is comments from citizens and delegates. You want to come and talk about your glass blowing now? You stayed the whole time. You might as well say something. Please give us your name and address for the record, and then...
Bruce Campbell, 9036 Green Valley Court, Douglasville.
Yes, sir.
This is something I do as a hobby and demonstrate. It actually is called lamp work because it's artistic rather than functional.
Okay.
And also, I am going to be having glass pieces there. If people wish to have any, then they can pay the Masonic Children's Home for them. So I won't be doing any commercial aspect. Instead, it'll be a charitable aspect there. But the glass blowing itself, I'll probably, about every hour, I will do a repeat because I don't want to do the same last the whole period.
Yes, sir.
I'll be taking a break. And if you come, bring dark glasses because the glass does put out a lot of light when it's in the burner. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. We appreciate it. And we know you've been attending some of those public hearing meetings, too, so it's good to see you come back. You said you promised you were coming to a council meeting, so it's good to see you. Are there any other comments from citizens and delegates? Thank you. Not seeing any. We do have a staff report, and that is under Maintenance and Sanitation, Vice Chair Councilmember Mark Adams. If you don't mind reading the agenda item for me.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We have a staff report regarding the art piece that will be displayed at the Mayor's Monarch Pledge Butterfly Garden at Worthen Park, being installed by Keep Douglasville Beautiful. And that is Mr. Chan Weeks, who is going to show us that.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. Chan Weeks, 8578 Club Drive, Douglasville, Georgia, 30134. So the piece I am holding is actually a model of what you will see a similar art piece to, which is actually what we're calling a found art, a found object art. And it's going to be made up of lots of found objects, obviously, so recycled materials and that kind of thing. But this is going to be a very large piece. As you said, it's going to be at the Mayor's Monarch Pledge Garden over at Worthen Park. And there is a large round patio there now that is just sitting there waiting for, something wonderful to sit in it. This piece will actually be about 7 feet high by 7 feet wide, so the wingspan will be about 7 feet, so it'll be a very large piece. We have been working with the Cultural Arts Council, and they have found a wonderful artist that created this model and is currently working on the piece. His name is Alan Kuykendall, and we are really excited about it and hope to have it maybe installed late October, early November. So,
beautiful.
Ms. Weeks, do we have one of those in the butterfly garden on the old courthouse corner now in that butterfly garden? Is there one of those pieces there?
I am not really sure.
I'm just curious. I'm walking before daylight, and I thought I saw something like that. I didn't mean to steal the thunder.
There is a small, I recall seeing something over there, but I'm not sure exactly what it is.
So I wasn't seeing things. It just made, okay.
This will be quite a bit larger than whatever you're seeing over there. So.
Thank you.
That's exciting. I'm excited about public art. That's one of the pillars that we talked about with Douglas Unite, of course, with all the different pillars. And one was to have public art, that people really wanted that. And that's one of my initiatives as well, with Keep Douglasville Beautiful. At the Water and Sewer Authority meeting on this past Tuesday, WSA partnered with the Cultural Arts Council to paint all of the hydrants, and they're going to commission an artist to do that as well in the downtown area and extending through the city to have the fire hydrants painted, which will be part of public art. So we're just excited about some things that are coming into the city, and that's one of them, and it's going to be a substantial, beautiful image. So thank you so much for that, helping to bring some of those dreams to fruition. It's going to be exciting for everyone. People want to see public art in their cities and counties.
Thank you, Ms. Weeks.
Madam Mayor, I had a
Comments?
quick question. It's a nice looking piece. Is there any consideration that the artist is giving to make sure that it's vandal proof? Because it looks like there's a lot of delicate aspects to it, and I would be very concerned, kids running up and hanging off the wings and things like that.
There is. We did stress that we did need that, taken into consideration. It is not going to be completely break-proof. I mean, obviously, anything can be broken, and these wings, they are actually made out of wood because they do need to be able to, move a little. This whole body is actually going to be a wind vane, so it will actually rotate. So it couldn't be too heavy, I guess, for all that to happen. So, no, to your question, it will be, if somebody really wanted to break it, they would be able to. But for the most part, it's going to be set in concrete, and then there's, it's the pole inside here is, a reinforced steel and everything, and there's rebar going to be in the ground. So it's not going to be able to be pulled over. But yes, I'm sure it could be broken and damaged if somebody really wanted to.
High enough, I guess that would be the
They
key.
are, being 7 feet high, a child wouldn't really be able to. And this won't be where you can climb on it either. He's kind of, got the leaves kind of blocking in. So so some of that, has been taken into consideration, and hopefully people will respect it as what it is there to be. But I guess you always take that risk.
Will the wind be able to spin it around?
It will. It will spin.
Okay.
It'll be like a wind vane. So actually turn.
So nice. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Any other comments, Mr. Chairman, you have? No? Thank you so much, Ms. Weeks. We appreciate it. Any other business to come before the council tonight? If not, I open up the floor for executive session, to adjourn into executive session to discuss property and acquisition or deposition.
I make a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss property acquisition or disposition.
Second.
Thank you. So I'm properly moved in second to go into executive session. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We're into executive session. We'll take a 5-minute recess before we go into executive session.